All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. That is Colts Loyalist. And we're here to discuss a game that's coming up in, about 2 hours from now? That's going to be fun. What's up, FaZe? Appreciate you being in here. Brandon Wood, what up? All right, so interesting game. Now, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. Oh, gee, many Christmas. Inside the Horseshoe Podcast, Jordan Kennerneck and John Davis, what up? And Fuzzy Whistler, oh, damn, all of you are just jumping in here really quick. That is freaking awesome. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, but I posted a tweet where NFL.com, all 10 of their analysis guys posted their picks for the game. All 12 of them have the Ravens winning this game. Not only that, but some of them have some pretty wild. Mark Sessler, 40-20. Are you kidding me? 40 points? The Ravens are going to put 40 points up on the Colts? Holy crap. I hope, man, I'm glad. My goodness. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm just.
Reel it in, Law.
Oh, man, he reminds me of some of these guys that I'm not going to name that cover the Colts for the local media. Ooh, wow. What up, Truitt? Appreciate you. Sargo, Colts Nation Podcast. What up? No horsing around here to show you both some love. Appreciate that. Yeah, look at that. They finally popped in. Holy crap. Says fired up. Well, yeah. I mean, when everybody is picking the Ravens to win, I mean, I get it. I understand. A touchdown spread, and that's what it is, right? It is a touchdown spread against the Colts today in Baltimore. I understand that. And Vegas don't put touchdown spreads lightly. I mean,
right.
Even when they're favored, usually you don't see anything like a touchdown or 10 points or something like that. That's a lot of points. And so, oh, really? One of the few people that got your last. It took me a second, Jordan. It took me a second. I had to sit there and pronounce it in my head first. You sound like Tom Brady before Super. Right? No, it's. How do you do that? How do you sit there and say Baltimore's going to drop 40 points on the Colts? I mean,
it just goes with what we've experienced over the last several years. National media just does not pick up the same thing that we're picking up, following them closely and stuff. And it's easy when you sit there and you start looking at the injury reports. I mean, my question is, okay, if they're doing that, how in the world can they say that Baltimore is going to be able to hang 40 on anybody with their injury report? I mean, to me, it just seems like an easy narrative to push, and so that's what they go with.
Right. Hey, appreciate you, Dominic Garvin, for the subscription. Lanes as well, a couple days ago. Appreciate that as well. Alpha Wolf in here says, I caught myself jumping off my chair while cheering like a little schoolgirl for the Bills last night. Anyway, go Colts. You know what? That was a game, wasn't it? Oh, yes. My goodness. And, I have been on the Josh Allen, fan track since the end of his sophomore season in the NFL. And I was like, you know what? At the end of that, I was like, man, he made a pretty good jump from his rookie year to his second year. If he can make that jump in his third year, that's going to be impressive. And he did. And then so far this year, everybody's like, oh, well, he only had one good year in the NFL. He might have a setback. He don't look like he's having any setbacks, ladies and gentlemen. He just went out there and, threw up some point. He had, 6 plays of 20 or more yards in the first half of the game against Kansas City last night.
But I don't understand how that's possible. He can't play whenever there's full stadiums. Isn't that what the narrative was?
Right?
Yeah, well, he could do it and partially feel. Let me tell you right now, last night's stadium was full of all the wrong people, and he still did very well. So hopefully he can put that weak narrative to rest also.
Absolutely. Okay, so I don't know. You guys may or may not understand or know who's playing and who's not in this game. That's going to start here pretty soon. But I'm going to give you the injury report. Just I don't know what the total inactives are, but for us, most likely it'll be everybody that's out, right? I mean, because we have 5 outs, right? Isaac Rochelle is out because of an illness. Jordan Wilkins has out because of a non-football illness, which makes us a little bit worried because they don't put that in there unless it is very specific. Rocky Sin won't be playing this game with his ankle. Braden Smith with his foot and apparently a thumb injury that came out of nowhere. He's out. And then, of course, Kwity Paye still dealing with that hamstring. The Colts do have some questionable guys. Kari Willis with that ankle/groin. I'm at that point now where I'm just like, well, you know what, Kari, sit. I mean, ankle, groin, that has a lot to do with defensive backs' ability to move and change direction and get speed. If it's going to affect your play on the field, especially against a team like the Ravens who change direction and their speed very, very quickly on offense, maybe it might be better to sit you, my guy. I love you in the box, but yeah, I don't want to be a liability either. You get what I'm saying, Loyalist?
Yeah, and then okay, I'm going to mess his name up. No, Alejandro, the guy we picked up he proved to be pretty strong last week in the secondary and stuff. And like you said, yeah, thank you. I would have butchered that one for sure. But I mean, he performed fairly well. He's a veteran, so it's not like he's not seen what Baltimore's been doing over the last couple of years, and I mean he's been there all week, practicing and stuff. So I'm pretty sure the game plan is familiar enough to him that, like you said, if it's going to put him to where he can't reach his max potential, and it has a possibility of slowing him down in the recovery for later weeks, I'm like you now. You know what? Just sit it, guy. Let's get that thing 100%. So hopefully it won't be a continuing problem throughout the rest of the season.
Anthony Hurt says that the Colts have got to start putting on shows when they have these very limited primetime spots. Tonight would be a great start of that. And they've got, I think, 4 primetime games this year, hosting 1. For the first time in like 5 years, they're going to host a primetime game. And there are still flex games out there for the Colts as well. So I think the Patriots game is a flex game, if I remember. No.
Correct. Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah. The Patriots is a flex game. And I get you. Perform well, you might have a shot at doing it again later. Now, the Colts will have a chance at performing well because Baltimore is a little bit beat up on their offensive line. Now, this is last game. I don't know if you watched it, but, man, Lamar Jackson looked like Lamar Jackson. And what's scary is he threw for over 300 yards against the Broncos, and they got a pretty good defense. But you got players that will be out and questionable for this game. Ronnie Stanley, their offensive tackle, is out with that ankle injury. Alejandro Villanueva, man, it's so hard for me to pronounce that sometimes. The guy that they picked up from the Steelers.
Yep. There you
go. He's questionable with his own knee problem. So, that's their 2 starting tackles, right? And then Geno Stone and Deshaun Elliott are both dealing with injuries right now. They're questionable at safety, both of them at safety. So, I mean, it's possible. And if the Colts can put anything on the Ravens, man, that would make us feel a lot better. Because, yes, I get a win is a win, but it was Miami. And this would be more of a statement win than anything. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. This is one of those stepping stone wins. Because to be honest, we haven't performed worth a hoot against a lot of these playoff caliber teams. We lose to Buffalo. I mean, yeah, we're able to take them into the deep water, but we just haven't been able to get over that precipice to get the W and stuff. Last year, it looked like we had Baltimore pretty much sorted out the first half. Looked like we shut them down. And honestly, after watching the first half, I was super stoked. Like, oh, yeah, to go from what we did in the first half to what we did in the second half was a complete head scratcher for me. This year, like you said, let's get this game. Let's make this one of multiple wins against the topper caliber teams, because we've got quite a few of them still on our list this year.
Oh yeah, I mean our list of teams that we play, there's no mediocre teams. They're either trash or like top of the school, right? I mean that's pretty much what we got here, right? Those are the teams that we're playing, and it's weird. Like next week we got the Texans. You know, speaking of that, I've been talking to a certain Texans fan who is about ready. I almost feel like he's about ready to disown them, but I think he's even stated that a few times. But he's, we're discussing. There's a possibility he might come on Thursday, Brett Coleman, so that would be nice. And we'll discuss that at that point. And for tonight, generally, I do a live stream reaction for my Patreon guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm going to do that tonight because, as Loyalist was saying, we have really, really bad thunderstorms rolling in right now in our area, rolling right through the entire length of the state of Indiana. Apparently, Loyalist is being battered by it right now. When it batters here, I will be running around the entire house with buckets because of the drips and stuff. So I do have the roofers will be here next week, the end of next week. So that'll be nice.
Awesome.
Hopefully that'll get fixed at that point. But yeah, I still got to deal with the rain today. So Jordan asked, will T.Y. be ready to play the Texans? It sounds like that he's getting better, so hopefully that'll work. Hopefully you're right as well. Colts Nation 365, what up? Villanueva's a liability. Komoko has got to eat. Komoko Ture, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss last week against Miami. I agree. Komoko Ture has got to get pressure, and not just pressure. Pressure against Lamar Jackson just means he's running up the gut generally, right? And he's going to pick up 40 yards on the ground. We got not just pressure. It can't be crazy pressure like just give up your assignment and your hole.
Yeah.
You got to
keep that edge if that's your job. Everything.
Yeah. Keep your gap. Keep your gap. Don't give up your gap just to get pressure. Some quarterbacks you can do that with. Lamar Jackson's not that type of quarterback you want to do that with. You got to be able to keep your back, get pressure, and then hopefully sack him. He went down. I think he's one of the top sacked quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I think he's got like 11 on the season so far. And he's put the ball on the ground a few times too. So keep an eye out on that. I got someone up here. Who was that said that? And I need to go back and talk about here we are. Brandon Wood says, I really hope that we get into dime looks a lot so Leonard can spy Jackson all game. I don't expect Leonard to be spying Jackson the entire game because that'd be just kind of tipping their hat. They'll know who's watching him, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do that, right? They even asked him how much in the press conference. They asked Leonard, how much will you be spying Lamar Jackson this game? He says, you think I'm going to tell you our game plan? You know, there's a reason why, the Colts have got a lot of good, smart, fast players who can tackle well, right? And I don't think it's just him that will be spying. There will be multiple people spying at different looks at different times. And as long as we have somebody on the field keeping an eye in that backfield, I'll be happy. No offense to Grover Stewart, but he's the last guy that I want spying Lamar Jackson, okay? Anyone else I think is a little bit okay. Grover's a great defensive tackle, but he's not exactly the fastest guy on the Colts defense right now. So
yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I feel like Al-Qadim Muhammad, Tyquan Lewis, these are the guys that we really need to step up to. Just like you said, Baltimore's just as dangerous, if not more so, in the run game. So you get these guys that and they're the guys that are going to be in first down and second down. And let's sit there and get in Lamar's face and let's put some pressure on him and let's shut down those running lanes and stuff and leave them in second and long and third and long and then let Komoko eat.
Yeah, that's true. And DB's in here saying that the only receiver, and I appreciate you being in here, Baltimore fan. The only receiver that the Colts have is Michael Pittman Jr. I have a feeling you're going to find out otherwise today. Okay, because the Colts do have good. What? It's not a secret to anyone who's Colts fans.
It is to Vegas. It's to Vegas. You know, that's where we're going to make the spread.
Right. The Colts have got some really good receiving threats, and they just haven't had that opportunity yet because they're not, like in sync with Wentz. But you're seeing it happen slowly as the season goes on. Last week you saw a few nice passes to certain players, which will remain named. Okay, they're Paris Campbell and Mo Alley Cox. Zach Pascal also. I think Zach Pascal leads the team in touchdowns, catches, very solid receiver. So, but I'll tell you what, I don't know. Hey, DB, I've always had a lot of respect for the Ravens defense, and I understand Humphreys is there. I thought that they had some injuries over there in the secondary. How is that going on over there right now? I haven't actually kept up the last couple weeks. I only kept up through preseason training camp, and then as the weeks go on, I watched the games, but I'm just curious. If I remember right, I saw some safety names that I had never seen before. I thought in the game against Denver.
Okay. Yeah, because didn't they also lose Peterson in the secondary for season ending on IR? So
that's probably probably it. Yeah.
So these guys, they've sort of come back to us, or the rest of the league is sort of catching up with us in the injury department. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like the chemistry you were talking about. We're really, like I said, this is week 5 on the schedule, but I really feel like we're basically in week 2 of our, as far as because how we were put behind the chains. As far as with all the injuries.
Anthony Everett, thanks, DB. That's the guy I was looking at that I saw last week come up with that pick. He did a good job. He did get burnt a couple times, though. But then again, look at the guy who was quarterbacking, right, for the Denver Broncos. I mean, there's a little worry. Okay, there's a lot of worry. For me, when it comes as a Colts fan walking into this game, and the biggest worry for me isn't their secondary, believe it or not, it's the front 7. And the reason I say, and everybody's like, well, they don't have much of a pass rush. Well, the Colts are a freaking like cheese mesh or something when it comes to pass rush this last season due to injury, right? I mean, our tackle situations, our center, even our guard situations have had issues. And they're a team that likes to be very aggressive, blitz a lot. Send a lot of different confusing looks, trying to confuse quarterbacks. And right now, with the Colts offensive line being in the predicament that is in, and yes, I understand Carson Wentz has healed up better from his ankle injuries, but he's still not at 100%. I'm going to tell you that. Now, that puts a little bit of worry in me. This game could legitimately get out of hand if oh man, I heard that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. If the offensive line is not able to hold up even long enough just for him to get quick passes out, that's what I'm worried about. Because, Baltimore, we've talked about it before, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, New England, they're the kind of teams that'll line up 9 guys right up on the on the line of scrimmage, have them all standing up. You won't even know who's coming, And you got to have really good communication on that between the offensive line and the quarterback for blocking schemes. Otherwise, Carson Wentz could be running for his life, and I hope that's not the case tonight.
I was sitting there, I was thinking about that, and I don't know if you listen to the Colts, but Coach Venturi was sitting there talking about how these guys are having to figure out who's coming and who's not. And he brought up something. He's like, if they're wearing a jersey in the 50s or the 90s, those are the guys that are coming and stuff, you know what I mean? And I got to thinking about the way that, I guess that is a little bit of a shortcut, to sit there and just give yourself as a generalization, okay, this guy's numbers in the 50s, I definitely have to watch him run.
Another guy, obviously, Justin Houston. Ex-Colt guy, played here the last couple years. He knows the Colts' offensive line. I mean, now he won't be facing anyone that he's played against the last 2 years, because one of them ain't even on the team no more, the left tackle, Anthony Costanzo, and the guard, he's on IR right now, Quentin Nelson. So, that's good. That's kind of an even up. I hate the fact that we lost these guys, but at the same time, Justin Houston knows these guys. He's practiced against them daily. So, that could change things up quite a bit, considering we have to game plan around the guys we have on the offensive line now. Back in the day when we knew, we had a top 3 offensive line, we knew, just power run that sucker right up the gut, and go man, get whatever you need to do blocking wise. But now that we have question marks with all the backups that we have, the offensive line coach and Frank Reich and them, they've got a scheme around what they do well and what they don't do well. So this could be a different look for Justin Houston and this defensive front seven that the Ravens aren't used to seeing.
A little more on that. Don't you think that we could probably expect a better game from Fisher? Because it seemed to me, just first glance watching the game live, that Fisher is having a little bit more trouble with the speed than he has the power. And, I remember the last couple of years we've seen Justin Houston's speed sort of drop off a little bit. He's still got that amazing strength, and he can still convert it to a burst. But do you think that, that maybe Fisher, because last week he had a really rough game, this week he might be able to have a better outing against the likes of a Justin Houston?
Well, who's to say that Justin Houston won't be lined up over that left tackle too? But I doubt it, because Owen will be over there. What you're saying, I think this is more of a veteran savvy type situation. We're looking over there at the left tackle situation, right? Between those two aging veterans. Let's just face it, Fisher and Houston. Neither one of them's overly quick anymore. But it'll be more, hand movement, hand fighting, trying to set people up, stuff like that. So as long as we have a tight end on the edge, I think we'll be fine. And the Colts have been using tight ends a lot. I mean a lot, especially to help blocking lately. Speaking of tight ends, we need to use those in the passing game too.
Yes, we do.
We have not seen much of them through the first 4 games. We saw a little bit last week. Jack Doyle picked up a huge third down, like a 24-yarder catch, third down in the fourth quarter to basically ice the game. Mo Alley Cox had a couple really, really nice catches, caught a couple touchdowns in that game. So it'll be absolutely fantastic to see that. That's the matchup I'm worried about. I want to see tight ends versus linebackers and Jonathan Taylor, because it is true, and I will give him credit that at least he's being honest. DB's being honest about his linebackers. Just haven't been stepping up this year in the tackling, and I've seen that. In the film, I have noticed that some guys are breaking tackles, and Jonathan Taylor. If there's one thing Jonathan Taylor can do, is break tackles, right? I don't know too many running backs. He kind of has the power of Frank Gore, but with like track speed to go with it. It's a little bit scary. So as long as we can feed Jonathan Taylor and keep the sticks moving, but don't overly sell the run. I don't want to see run, and then punt. That'd be dumb.
Yeah. Don't force it. Just
use it as it comes.
Get your rhythm with it. Yep.
Exactly. Just like Baltimore's going to do the same thing. Baltimore's going to try to run against the Colts, because the Colts, come on, that's what Baltimore does is they prefer to run the ball. Yeah, Jackson threw for 300 yards last game. That was the second time in his career he's threw over 300 yards. The other time, I think he threw 500 yards week 1 last season, if I remember correctly, against somebody. I can't remember exactly who, Miami or someone. I'm not 100%. But I do remember it was that big game. Well, that's only the 2 times he's ever thrown for over 300 yards. So they love running the football. And they're going to try to run it down our throat, control the clock, keep Jonathan Taylor on the sideline, and wear our defense down. Because as fast as we are, we can get tired, right?
Especially with 2 teams, like we said, that are battling injuries and stuff and a little thin in certain areas, you know what I mean? Yeah, the best thing for that is just wear them guys out. Just keep banging them. And I could see this like a 1950s football game by the time it's all said and done. What is that? Three cuts and a blade of dust or something, or whatever that saying is. It's just, and a whopping, 13-12 score or something like that.
Yeah. I can't believe that I was seeing Mark Sessler. I mean, some of the scores that they had predicted on there, I'm okay with. 21-17. If we lose 21-17, it's a good game. I'm okay with that. Ravens are a good team. And it's a 7-point spread. Yeah, and I understand where the spread comes from. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose to a blowout. Because if we get blown out, I will blame it on coaching. I will not blame it on anyone but coaching. But here's the deal. Both these coaches can be incredibly brilliant at times, right? Harbaugh for the Ravens, Reich for the Colts. Very good coaching. But at times, they had these games where they have a slip up and you're like, oh, what we're trying to do is not working. We didn't adjust properly. And now we got our butts handed to us. We see that from both these coaches once in a while. Not very often, but it happens. And
yeah, it's almost like they try to outsmart themselves almost to some extent.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Tough Puppy? Appreciate you being in here. I hope it's a good game, too. Appreciate you being in here, even though you're a Ravens fan, man. I welcome all. I've got plenty of Ravens fans in here right now. Might run you off, but Joseph in here says 21 and 22 personnel made a big difference in the Miami game. It did. Joe's not a Raven fan, I promise you that much. He's not necessarily a Colts fan either, but he's definitely not a Raven fan. But I appreciate you being here. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to do my live stream for Patreon tonight. I might just end up being on Twitter and posting clips like I did on Sunday, right? Speaking of which, I had one of my clips from the game. You've seen that, right, Loyalist?
Yeah.
One of my clips blew up, but it was stolen. Like my video, I took a video clip, and PFF copied it and posted it to their tweet and didn't give me credit, and I knew it was mine. I knew it was. I was like, it zoomed in the proper way. The start and stop is exactly the same. They just stole my they stole my shit and didn't give me credit for it. You know? So I went in and I called them out on a tweet. I quote tweeted them and I said, is this mine? Because it sure looks like mine. If it is, cool. And the next thing you know, they gave me credit for it underneath. It was that play. It was that play where Wilson, the quarterback for the Jets, hit his left tackle in the back of the head with the football, right?
Found himself an open receiver,
right? Man, Alpha Wolf says I'm a referee fan. We're number one. Ha 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 ha.
He's the only one.
Yeah, Tough Puppy says, I've been a fan for a while, man. You got a great show. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Joe Thornburg has to pipe in, go Steelers and anyone who plays Baltimore. I got you.
You went and had to stir it up, didn't you?
Yeah, Jordan's asking me, are you going into any Colts games? And I'm, to this point, no. I'm not going to rule it out. It's difficult to make content when I'm actually at the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations. Plus, I'll be frank and honest. I just don't have a bunch of money, extra. I had to scrounge together as much as I could in order to get my roof fixed. So that, speaking of which, it's not raining yet. But yeah, so
that's not a good thing. We could just look across your desk to see if it's raining.
Well,
I
got my window right here and it's open. So
oh, okay.
But it's starting to get dark outside. But boy, the wind sure picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my! Joe Thornburg brings it up. Justin Tucker. Holy crap! All I got to say is if it's in the fourth quarter with under 5 minutes left in the game and the Colts have the ball, just hold the ball. Just run the clock out. Right? I don't want Justin Tucker with a shot to kick a field goal from the parking lot. Okay? I don't want him a shot at all because that man, he is right now and has been for the last few years been the best kicker in football. I mean, flat out. He has been. All-time great. He's got some time. It's like calling Patrick Mahomes, the best all-time. I mean, you got a ways to go before you reach that level. But right now, you are the best all-time or best playing right now. Period.
I'm interested how much of that comes into play calling decisions and stuff because, whenever you're back in the day when you were playing against the Peyton Manning team, it factored into clock management, and if we get this, it's only going to give us a 3-point lead, and Peyton's going to have 2 minutes. Not good enough, so then they they go for it on fourth down to try to score a touchdown. So I wonder if that affects, the kicker, if that actually comes into the thought process of the Colts and stuff whenever it comes to figuring out how to manage the game over the last 4 to 5 minutes. Do they sit there and say, okay, we know we kick this off, all they need is 20 yards before they're in field goal range.
I'm almost
so do they
positive.
Sit there? Because the coaches always talk about how he always wants to have, the offense with the ball at the end. I think that is a bigger and more pertinent fact in this week's game than a lot of games, just because of that kicking ability that Tucker has.
Absolutely. I fully agree. I hope he does too. Takes that into consideration hardcore. I would definitely pull a hole, hold the ball, and wait and not heck. Honestly, Joseph said it best. He said in the chat, that's fine. Trade touchdowns for Tucker field goals. Yeah, that'll work too. All right. So Skylar and Kirsten asked, you're also afraid of crowds too, right? And yes, I have a phobia of crowds. I have 2 phobias in my life. 2. One of them's worse than the other. Now, my phobia of crowds, I can get over, but it causes me issues physically. When I'm stressed, my eczema will break out real bad. I'll have, all kinds of things could happen. My fear of needles is 10 times worse than that, though. It is what it is, though. Max Crosby is the GOAT. Alpha Wolf. Are you kidding me?
As long as you give him enough shots at it.
He did win the game. He did win the game.
You got to admit, though, he had the absolute perfect response because the camera goes back to him, and he's just like, I know I get it sooner or later. He wasn't going, yeah, and all that. He said, sorry it took us this long, fellas.
Right? That's nuts. Truett says, does news break cover roofs? No. As a matter of fact, my news break now is Loyalist and I. Speaking of Newsbreak, guys, go check out Newsbreak. It's right down here now in the link in the description right down there of this video because we got stuff on Newsbreak. Matter of fact, let me play that ad real fast. If you guys don't mind, I would appreciate it if I could share this. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. And since we're at about that time, I might as well continue doing stuff with my other sponsor. Now, don't forget, I also have my merchandise down here in the links in the description. I have my Patreon, which is only $5 a month. You can join it down here. That don't look good when I point down like that. I just realized that. It's in the box in the description right here.
Oh, that's better. Let's start talking about boxes. Right, you're gonna get us banned.
Guys, we're teamed up with the Backroom Collection. All right, great artwork. Go check them out, man, because they got some really good stuff. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. All right, Brandon Wood, what's up? Yeah, FaZe, I get it. Brandon says that Crosby's a great kicker and has been for years. I mean, he missed 2 kicks in the last 2 years up until last night.
Yeah, 27 in a row, and then all of a sudden, just one game, he missed more than he did in the entire 2 years.
Right, that's nuts. Brandon Wood says Colts just released their inactives for the night. I think there's 5. Is it 5 that is inactive for a game? Well, we got 5 that are out.
7.
7?
Yeah, I think
so
it's
there would
7,
be 2 more that we could add on to it. But I haven't seen it. I was looking for it. I didn't notice. Who are they, Brandon? Let me know. I'd like to know. I'm going to guess. Kenneth Evanowski says 7 as well. Yeah, I remember now. I'm going to say DeMichael Harris.
Well, that's just wrong. Did you not hear how much work he had at practice this week? It's not easy pretending to be Lamar Jackson.
And Eason.
Yeah, I would definitely say Eason because you got Hunley now that's part of the active roster. And yeah.
Yep.
They pretty much hitched their wagon to him this year as the backup.
Yep. Chuck Millsap, what's up? Nice to see you saying. He says, eliminate Lamar's deep throws and force him underneath, and he'll grow impatient. He didn't do it last year. The first half, we held Lamar to 3 points the entire first half. All right, we were beating them, and we were holding their run game for the game. The Colts held them to their lowest ever when it comes to yards per carry. We only allowed 2.3 yards per carry as a team, against the Ravens. We allowed the Ravens 2.3 yards per carry. Now, we only gave up 110 total rushing yards. The Broncos only gave up, I think, 103.
Yes.
I think it was total. But they gave up like 3.4 yards per carry. So it was they still ran better against the Broncos than what they did against the Colts. But in the second half, Lamar Jackson came out and just started throwing right over the middle.
Yeah, that was the thing last year. Last year, arguably, we had our best half of the entire year was that first half against Baltimore. And it still wasn't enough, you know what I mean? So yeah. I respect that, but I mean, it's got to be a full 60 minutes. And let's make it 60. Let's don't leave it to any overtime or anything like that, because then then you talk about the Justin Tucker factor being even bigger.
Yeah. just let you know, I already knew that Jordan Wilkins was going to be inactive due to the roster, right? Isaac Rochelle, Jordan Wilkins, we knew they were going to be out. Same with Rock Ya-Sin, Braden Smith, Kwity Paye. Those were the questionables, or the outs for sure. And then Kari Willis was questionable. So, I mean, it's possible Kari Willis is one of those guys that are in that inactives list. I don't know. But we have good players out there. Like Faye says, we should use Harris. He's got some quickness. I agree, but I would rather Paris Campbell is a guy I want to see used in a lot of those situations. He looks good on end arounds and stuff. And obviously we got a couple guys like Mike Strawn. We ain't seen him. He was inactive a game or two this year. I don't think he got any targets last week. I don't think, if I don't remember, he played. He didn't get any targets though. So
yeah, I think he had 17 snaps and not a single target.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting on how things work out this game. We got 36 viewers in here right now. Guys, please do us a favor and smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live. I am going to do a film room breakdown when and if the All-22 drops for this stupid game, because they don't want to give me Colts games. Week 1, they still haven't dropped that one for the Colts. Week 1, the All-22. I didn't get the All-22 for the Miami game until Saturday, I think it was, Friday or Saturday. I mean, my goodness, it's ridiculous.
There was something I was thinking about I'd like to see, and I was interested in what the chat thinks and stuff, but I'd like to see a little bit of film breakdown on Matt Pryor, and let's see, what is he actually doing over there on the right side? Why is Davenport getting any run whatsoever? Because I ain't going to lie, the ones that jump out to me, I always seem to look up and see 73 on my screen getting smoked around the edge or whatever. Is Pryor having as much trouble, or is, I'm just curious as to see why we're even messing with this Davenport factor anymore.
We still got to have backups.
Well, that's fine. But right now we're dealing with this guy rotating in with playing time. I'm just I'm curious what the film says as far as is Pryor as vulnerable as Davenport is, or is there just clearly maybe he doesn't have the whole playbook or something?
I'll keep an eye on that. I'll go look at that. That's a good question. Like I said, I haven't had a chance really to look at all 22 because it ain't been there for me. Some of the other guys out there were using VPNs to get their stuff because only people outside of the 48 was able to get it. And I wasn't doing that because that's breaking rules and I can get my account suspended or revoked. Yeah. And I don't want to get that happen to me, so I didn't do it. And I just waited and was patient. No, I wasn't. I wasn't patient. I was mad in freaking hell. All right.
I was going to say, that's why I was sitting there thinking the whole time they didn't give you the Colts game until like the very last one. I'm like, yeah, that's what they're giving you for giving them all that grief on YouTube or on Twitter.
All right. Tough Puppy says, hey, I got to go. Lawrence, have a great day and go Ravens. Well, have a great day to you. Good luck to the Ravens, just not too much luck. And you know what? I want a close game and no one get hurt. Okay, that's all. That is most important, right? I don't want to see any more injuries for either team because both teams have had freaking enough injuries. Okay, the good thing is the Colts walked out of the Miami game without any injuries. That was fantastic.
First one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we had no injuries, and then the next day you find out you had 2 or 3. So I was waiting this week for that second day injury report to see if there was any that popped up afterwards.
Jalen Williams, what's up? Appreciate you being in there. Says, I can answer that question about Pryor if you'd like. I'm an Eagles fan and former college offensive lineman. Well, I mean, you're welcome to say something in the chat or in the comments after this video. More than welcome to do that. But I'm still probably going to do my own film room and look at it, and you're welcome to check it out when it gets out there. All right. What up, Loyalist and Lawrence?
What up?
Gregor, what's up? Guys, I gotta prepare myself. It looks like it is about, yeah. It's getting pretty nasty looking outside. Which means I don't have my stuff set up for all the leaks that's about to hit me. So, guys, keep an eye out. Go check me out, Colts_Law at Twitter. I will be posting video clips of the entire game. I'm sorry, those of you that are Patreon, like I said, because of the storm tonight, I don't think I'll be able to do a live stream because I'm worried that it'll just kick me out and cut me off, and then that would be dumb. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I will be posting clips on there, and then I will post a reaction to it tomorrow morning. Okay, to the game. Win, lose, draw, ugly, whatever, right? I will post one, and we'll see if Loyalists can join us as well, depending upon, what time I do it at. But I'll see you guys later. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, as usual, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And until next time, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.